our next game, probably one of the most important games this week. We have the Seattle Seahawks as 3-point underdogs going to Cincinnati versus the Bengals, who were able to come alive versus the Arizona Cardinals that have competed up until the third quarter with the 49ers, beaten the great Dallas Cowboys, and they were up big against the Giants. So the Cardinals have been competitive this year. The Bengals were the first team to really turn over Josh Dobbs, where they made him throw 2 picks in that game. So their defense played well. Jamar Chase, you're always open. Okay, you get 15 catches, 183 yards, and a hat trick for touchdowns in that game. So Joe Burrow came alive, was able to give him the ball. And then Seattle, coming off a bye into Cincinnati, where Devon Witherspoon is now coming into his own. They're starting to figure out how to use some of the young guys on defense. So the Seattle Seahawks are trending up as well with the Bengals. This is a very interesting game, probably my favorite game of this week. What's your gut reaction?
I was really encouraged what I saw from the Bengals last week. I know it was the Cardinals, so we can probably, temper the flames a little bit, but what really impressed me was Joe Burrow and how he looks this week compared to how he looked the last few weeks prior. He made some really great throws to Jamar Chase. I know Jamar Chase was open. He made that very clear. But that dart that he threw, that touchdown, it looked really impressive. So now that he's starting to get his mobility back, Joe Burrow at the peak of his powers, is a reason why we anointed him as the second best quarterback in the NFL. So the Seahawks, their defense, I think, is definitely coming into their own. Devon Witherspoon was excited when they drafted him. But I'm going to pick the Bengals in this game. I think they're starting to get their legs under them again. And they see that division. They think, well, after what we saw from the Ravens last week, after we saw how awful the Pittsburgh Steelers offense is, and the Browns just being the Browns.
Yeah.
We got to feel good about where we are, believe it or not. So I'm picking the Bengals in this game. I do think that they get the win against the Seahawks.
Yeah, and I watch you. You're a history buff. Watch Shane Gillis. He's also a history buff. And when I was looking at the history of the Cincinnati Bengals, it's like they do this every single year. Joe Burrow gets hurt, has some nagging injury, doesn't play in training camp. They start 1-3 in October. They lost to the Browns last year, lost to the Ravens, pretty much the same exact situation. And then Joe Burrow last week, what's the difference? Well, he actually looked mobile. He looked healthy in that game. And then he's the second best quarterback in football. He's the only person to beat Patrick Mahomes, not named Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. So Junior. And then you have Geno Smith in this game, who I think Geno Smith has been good, but they've definitely been able to be stopped. And DK Metcalf has the tendency to disappear. So if there's anywhere that would happen, it would probably be in Cincinnati, which is a tough place to play. The Bengals defense is looking good. And then we went through the exact same situation last year. I have no reason to be discouraged about the Cincinnati Bengals because they started 1-3 last year. You're looking at your division. Okay, the Steelers offense, really? Yeah, I think we can stop them. The Ravens look like they're falling apart a little bit already. The injuries are starting to pile up. We have a Nelson Aguilar issue already on this team. Zay Flowers is starting to make some errors. Their running back cores are getting hurt up. So the Bengals smell blood in the water. They have started like this before. They are no stranger to adversity. And I think when I'm picking a killer between Geno Smith and Joe Burrow, I think this is going to be another step forward. And the fact that they were able to get the win at home versus a tough team like the LA Rams and slow down someone like Puka Nacua in that game was a great sign. So I think Geno's going to have a rough day. Cincinnati Bengals will be able to give them trouble on defense. And then Jamar Chase, I think, is going to continue to press forward on this track.
Yeah, I like the Bengals in this game.
Yeah, so Bengals take it. Do you like a close game or comfortable win?
I'd say a comfortable win for the Bengals. I think their defense has played very well, and I think they should be able to take care of Geno Smith.